Ease yourself, just keep it calm, you your star. Only per pressure in my corner. One time it's hard to carry on. You no need no girl for turn to, no man for talk to. Feelings hurt, but the journey so far.
Welcome Success family, my enlightened keepers of Øwayne Media alongside our new arrivals to the channel. Now, I've been wanting to make this video for a while now and I figured why not. So, Vybz Kartel has been freed for over a month now and he's been making appearances everywhere from Digital Rising Stars to PNP 86 conference and even visiting other Caribbean nations and their leaders, releasing music and many more. So, while it's been a little while since Kartel release, I still want to remind those who are curious why Vybz Kartel was freed. For anyone still seeking that clarity, now this video is for you. The Court of Appeal led by Judge Marva was tasked with determining whether the interests of justice required a new trial for Sean Storm, Vybz Kartel, Kyra Jones and Andre St. John, who were all convicted of murder in 2014. Now, as we know, the Privy Council had previously quashed their convictions, citing significant concerns about jury misconduct during the original trial, and the trial judge's decision to continue with the proceedings despite evidence of tampering was deemed a miscarriage of justice. Now, the Jamaican Court of Appeal's decision to deny a retrial for the appellants at the time was based on several well-justified reasons. All 7 of these reasons reflects the challenges of the legal process and the principles of justice. I will give you the Court of Appeal's 7 reasons and then give you my explanation of each reasons they gave as to why the Court of Appeal deemed them valid to free Vybz Kartel. It's a 6-page document, but I broke it down. If you're new to the channel, welcome and make sure to subscribe to get all our latest videos. So the first reasons as to why the Court of Appeal mitigate against a new retrial is availability of witness and exhibit. So the Court of Appeal reason is the prosecution failed to guarantee that crucial witnesses and trial exhibits from the original trial would be available for a retrial. And the reason for that is because without these key witnesses and evidence, the prosecution case would be significantly weakened, and the lack of availability would raise doubts about the fairness and the plausibility of conducting a new trial. So the court recognized that proceeding without essential evidence could compromise the integrity of the judicial process. Now, the second reason would be unavailable defense evidence. Now, the court reason was defense witnesses and evidence that supported the appellants in the original trial are no longer available. This means that the unavailability of critical defense evidence would undermine Kartel and his lawyer ability to present a strong defense in a new trial. Therefore, if allowed, it would lead to an unfair trial, violating their rights to a fair hearing. The court was concerned that a retrial under these conditions would not provide Kartel with a fair opportunity to defend himself. Alright, so the third reason is complexity and duration of the original trial, and the court reason was the original trial was highly complex and lasted 64 days, one of the longest in Jamaican history, involving significant resources from the court and the appellants. By the way, if you hear me say appellants, is just for the purpose of this video. Repeating such a lengthy and resource-intensive trial would strain the justice system and divert resources from other cases and contribute to a backlog in the judiciary system also. Now, the court acknowledged that the justice system has finite resources and that ordering a retrial could negatively impact the timely resolution of other cases, which would make this an inefficient use of judiciary resources. So that's why them say, yo, no retrials. Alright, so number 4, impact on appellants. The court reason was the appellants have already spent 13 years in custody and a retrial would likely prolong their ordeal, worsening their psychological, financial and medical hardships, particularly for Vybz Kartel, who has declining health. Alright, so this means that the court considered the prolonged imprisonment and the hardships Kartel face while in prison, and ordering a retrial would subject them to further delays and legal uncertainty and could make their suffering even worse, especially for Kartel with his health issues. And you know, this kind of concern for the appellant's well-being aligns with the principle of justice that prioritizes humane treatment and the right to timely legal proceedings. Alright, so the 5th reason is significant time lapse. The court reason was the time lapse since the alleged offense, which could extend to 15 years by the time of a new retrial, raises concerns about the appellant's right to a fair hearing within a reasonable time. Now, what this means, it means that the Constitution guarantees the right to a fair hearing within a reasonable reasonable time, and a lengthy delay between the offense and a potential retrial could impair the appellant's ability to recall events, gather evidence, and secure witnesses. Now, the court recognized that such delay could compromise the fairness of the trial and infringe upon the appellant's constitutional rights. Alright, so now the sixth reason is interference with constitutional rights. The court reason was the prolonged legal proceedings and the potential retrial would interfere with the appellant's constitutional rights to a fair trial within a reasonable time under section 16(1) of the Constitution. Now, what this means is it means that the court found that extended duration of legal proceedings combined with the possibility of a retrial would further infringe on the appellant's rights to a fair trial. Now, this interference with their constitutional rights was a significant factor in the court's decision, as it highlighted the importance of upholding fundamental legal proceedings and avoiding further delays in the administration of justice. Last but not least, the seventh reason is potential prejudice. The court reason was a retrial could result in harsher sentences for some appellants due to changes in the law, particularly the mandatory minimum terms for murder under the Offences Against the Person Act. Now, what this means, it means that the court was concerned that a retrial could expose the appellants to more severe penalties than those originally imposed. Now, this potential for increased punishment, a risk of double jeopardy where the appellants could face greater consequences for the same alleged offense. Now, the court sought to avoid such an unjust outcome, ensuring that the appellants would not be unfairly penalized by changes in the system. And that, for me, that seventh reason for me is one of the biggest one, because you look at the potential prejudice, and if you can be charged for something and then them decide to, all right, then we're going to change the law, and then by the law being changed, you are now being affected and you get more time, more years spent behind bars that you actually didn't deserve, because initially the system wasn't set like that. So now you have to bear the consequences of the system being changed, which is unfair in my opinion, right? Alright, so Vybz Kartel is out, Shanstam is out, Madsus is out. The only person that is behind bars right now is Cairo. And I probably drop a video on Cairo as to why Cairo is still behind bars. So I'm definitely going to see if I can put a video together and then let the people them know why Cairo is still behind bars and when Cairo will be coming out. Because you see, Vybz Kartel post a lot of videos and him always I say free Cairo, this, that, and the third. You see me? Alright, so Vybz Kartel recently named his top 5 lyricists in dancehall, excluding himself. And I have to say I agree with the list, although I personally wouldn't include Assassin as a lyricist, but Kartel clearly knows what he's talking about because of his experience with Agent Sasco. Now, Kartel didn't mention Alkaline, which many people might find surprising. Idonia, Agent Sasco, Chronicler, Skillibeng, and Massacre make the list, but Alkaline didn't make the cut. Alright, so that's the video. Thanks for the likes, thanks for the subscribe, thanks for the views, thanks for the comments. As always, I'm out.